It's Celebrity Friday on Your View. Welcome to the show. I am Uriah Afolabi Brown. As always, I have the ladies with me. Albia Jelu Ugo. How you doing?
I'm doing amazing. Excellent morning, everybody.
I'm not seeing you on that side very well.
Yeah, that's what Miriam told me this morning. I like to see myself on the screen when I'm talking. So that when I'm now too much, I'm like, okay, it's time to calm down. But today now, anything people see, you take. I'm just seeing myself on the screen.
How you doing?
I'm doing great. So this weekend, I'm just going to have a girls' night out, just to unwind. We're going to eat, drink, watch movies, make noise, play music, dance, just to unwind. And it's something I look forward to doing regularly, so that once in a while we just get together and share from our experiences and learn from one another. So that's basically what my weekend is going to be. But on my way from work, I have my laptop. I'm going to be doing my work. I have assignments, MBA assignments. Have you finished your MBA assignments? Yeah. Okay. We have plenty. But after that, in the evening, we relax.
Yeah. Good. How you doing, Topper?
I'm good. Grateful to God for life. This weekend, the only thing I'm doing is prayer and fasting. So there's a retreat. It's called Life Sorting Out. One of my mentees kept insisting I needed to attend. She went for the second edition they did this year, and attending this one. There are lots of testimonies. I just feel like I felt like I needed prayer time for a long time, and I kept postponing when I'll do it, and I feel like I'll always be busy. So some things, you would have to sacrifice some things, you know. So I will miss out on the girls' night out because I have already scheduled this weekend for
my spiritual something.
I need to do
anything else happening?
Nothing else. Like after the show,
you're going to solitude.
Yes, yeah.
That's good.
Good.
May God answer your prayer.
Amen. That's all our prayers.
Yeah. I'm fine, thank you.
I actually love your outfit.
Thank you very much. This is ADA. Ada.
Really beautiful.
Oh, yes.
Wow. She knows your style.
She's doing well.
Good.
Okay, so for me, the few days that I was on the show, I used the opportunity to just do one or two things. I've been working on this house, so I've been looking for pieces, and then I found this lady that has these beautiful, unique decor, home decor pieces. And
So you have a job, you have an interior decoration.
Yeah,
You didn't tell us now. I would have been.
It's a work now.
She did my place.
I know she did yours. I know that you didn't tell us that you have this you have a new gig.
Okay, new gig.
Yeah, I've been doing a few things. I mean, just come and say every time.
Announce her job.
Every
Okay, I'm working on this house, I'm doing.
and then we'll see on Instagram.
So remember that you're in this business now. How do you know that?
The people that know.
They know.
The people that don't know.
That's all this.
Yeah, so I was just really, excited about it. And the reason I'm bringing it up is, there are some people who want to redo their places, but cash strapped. But this lady does like previously used items, well used, not fairly
so
used.
It's affordable.
Yeah, so it's affordable and it's nice, and then they're unique pieces. So it's not like your house is looking like everybody else's house. Everybody, you can get things to your taste. And then she was like, "Oh, I know you from your view. My mother loves you guys."
Yeah.
I'm like, "Your mother, how about you?"
You get that a lot. Everybody says, "Oh, my husband loves you." Oh, my wife that loves you. Oh, nobody ever says, "I like you." They never say that. When we talk, we're used to it. It's normal. So today is the burial of the FRSC boss.
Yeah.
I think it's his father, I believe, passed on, and they're having the burial in Ibadan. In Nigeria, something like that is celebration of life. That's really so. We think he had given us Ankara, but unfortunately we can't be there. But I think Nima will be able to attend on her behalf. So just wanted to acknowledge that that's happening today, and thank him very much for inviting us. Okay, we're going to go on a break now. When we come back, we go through the front pages of the papers. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
All right, we're going to start with The Nation. Striking doctors slammed with no work, no pay rule. PDP asked courts to sack Buni as governor. States failed to access 130 billion naira UBEC funds. Bank CEOs, how Forex buyers firms undermine CBN policy. APC senator writes off Buhari's 774,000 public works jobs. Family plans autopsy on Fire-Me. Okay, which story are we taking? Yes, please.
The Minister of Health, Dr. Osage Ehanire, he has said that resident doctors will no longer be paid if they continue on strike. So they are putting up the no work, no pay rule. And according to him, he said this is actually from the International Labour Organization. It's what is obtainable everywhere else in the world, but you cannot be expected to sit at home for a number of months and then be receiving salaries from taxpayers' money. And that they have not, it's not like it's a threat to the resident doctors, but it's just that with everything that's happening with the third phase of COVID-19 right now, this is not the time for those doctors to go on strike. And he also went ahead to say they are inviting them to an industrial court, but the resident doctors are saying that they are not going to come for that industrial, to appear at that industrial court, and they are going to continue the strike until all the memorandum of understanding that they signed, till they pay their allowances and, till they put things in place, they are not going to resume work. So it's been a back and forth.
It's really surprising that a doctor is a minister and these kind of conversations are still being had. You signed the MOU, simply implement it and pay everybody their money. People are still getting 5,000 naira for another allowance. And I have someone that has gotten COVID twice as a doctor and they pay only 5K. It's just...
It's almost insulting.
Quite insulting.
Yeah.
Let's take another story.
Yes, I have another story. So at the 65th National Council on Education meeting in Jalingo, Taraba State capital recently, the federal government was just saying, Ministry of Education was saying that about 130 billion naira is just laying idle with UBEC because state governments are unable to match the 50% grants to access these funds. And because of that, they are unable to make the contributions towards education in their various states. And this is definitely affecting the number of out-of-school children in many of these states. Government is asking that the state governments reprioritize what's important, to their communities, and education comes first. Also, the Minister for Women Affairs and Social Development too, added her voice and saying that we need to do everything. State governments need to do everything to make sure that no child is left behind in this our fight for pushing education.
All right, so the senator representing Osun West, Senator Adelere Oriolowo, has condemned the 774,000 Special Public Works Program, saying that, almost repeating what we're saying on this table, that we shouldn't be sharing money to youths, that money should have been properly invested, given to the various senators, and they would have used it to actually invest in employment, entrepreneurial opportunities for young people, not just sharing money. That sharing money has never solved the problem, which is something we've always said. When this program started, where they're going to be paying them a certain amount for a certain project. And we said, listen, empower these young people to be entrepreneurs. That money would have been better used because, according to him, 52 billion naira was invested in this program. That money could have been put to better use than sharing it to young people.
So bank CEOs are complaining that Forex buyers are undermining the system. The CBN has already put a restriction on Forex purchase to BDCs since July 27th. And especially one of the members of the Bankers Committee, the CEO of Guarantee Trust Holdings, Sheikh Agbaje, mentioned how people, they had gotten documents from people, false documents claiming to have legitimate reasons to request for Forex, and that many individuals are now overbloating what should be their general allocation just because they want to get dollars officially, and that we shouldn't compromise the system because they have a legitimate reason for restricting the sales of dollars. We don't have enough.
Okay, moving on to the Punch. COVID-19 free rise. States defend community testing stoppage. Expert warns of disaster. Osun hunters tackle Amotekun over alleged 29 million naira lockdown debt. Suspected bank hacker, road insurance operators nabbed over the 1.8 billion naira scam. Man LCCI warns as FG tolls Lagos, Ibadan, Abuja, Lokoja, other roads. Bandits collected 11 million naira, killed firm's engineer in Kaduna, says source. Gani Adams, Buhari must choose between Southwest self-determination or regional government. Nigeria's UK High Commission shuts as official contract COVID-19. FG hikes vehicle number plates, driving license rates by 50%. Oh, I wish I read that. And bank CEOs threaten Forex fraudsters with arrest and prosecution. Okay, let's start with the human interest story in Punch.
Yeah, so there's this man. His name is Femi Salau. He's been arrested by the Police Special Fraud Unit, and 2 of his accomplices, the BDC operators, have also been arrested. And this is because they say he found a way to hack into the systems of a first-generation bank, and he will make fictitious credits he made into like 3 different accounts that came to about over 1.8 billion naira. So it's audio money. You would see credits being made onto the account. And then he was able to now withdraw so much money and then launder it through these BDC operators. Luckily, the fraud unit was petitioned. They got in touch with CBN, and they had caught all his other accomplices. He was the last remaining, and when he got in, he had already been on a watch list. When he got in, he was arrested. I mean, we have such intelligent minds, but we're using it for crime.
Really sad. So,
I think from Thursday, there've been records that a lot of states are not testing enough for COVID-19. So mass testing, community testing is not going on anymore. And states are complaining. Some are saying that people are really not coming for the testings. And even when they come, they become very apprehensive. Others are saying, some other states are saying that they need more testing kits. So the minister is saying that, okay, so first of all, the NCDC showed that 2,293 cases were recorded between Sunday and Wednesday. And this is as a result of the fact that we're not even testing as much. So if we test more, we're definitely going to have more people, come up with the COVID-19. And they're appealing that they, open up more testing sites and encourage states to test for COVID-19. There was a management, I think, of a Fresh FM in Ekiti State who died recently, and then they had to, when they tested his corpse, they realized he died as a result of COVID-19. So they are contact tracing people around him. Yeah.
So the Ààrẹ Ọ̀nà Kakanfò of Yoruba land, Ààrẹ Gani Adams, has said the federal government must choose between allowing Yoruba race to have their own nation or accede to the request of the Southwest Regional Government's suggestion. According to him, he agrees with Professor Banji Akintoye's positions because he feels that we cannot continue to languish in poverty. We cannot continue to live in our country as second-class citizens. We agree with the Southwest governors on true federalism or regionalism or self-determination. They should choose one of those.
Sad story. While we're still trying to get the children of Bethel Baptist College in Kaduna State out, one of those trying to negotiate for their release said that something that happened the day before, the person is anonymous, confirmed that they kidnapped 3 people, 1 Chinese, a Yoruba man, and another colleague in a Chinese firm. And they demanded for ransom. The ransom wasn't paid completely, negotiated to 11 million. So the person that brought the 11 million naira ransom to the bandits said that when he brought the money, they said, these people are not serious, and shot the Yoruba man and released his dead body to the person that brought the ransom, that take the money, take this body back, you people need to bring in more money.
Wow.
And I really feel sad that the family of this engineer are going to be are now thrown into, I know they probably had to hustle out the 11 million naira, but we need to carry out a more decisive action because they are communicating with people. These bandits communicated. They got the money. Somebody needs to follow.
There's a location, there's geotagging.
Yes,
I don't even get it.
So if the money wasn't, there must be something that we must do decisively to deal with this thing. We can't continue paying ransoms and empowering people, and they are killing people randomly.
And people are going back and forth to these places, and no one is able to find where they are.
Them.
Then, well, let me keep my mouth shut.
Okay, let's go on a break. When we return, it's really disheartening.
Yeah.
I get it.
Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We're moving on very quickly to Daily Sun. PDP asks court to sack APC chair Buni and deputy. Sit at home, Kanu's family restates position to suspend order. Buhari, governors, Kalu, others pay tributes to late Fawemi's sons. 2023 presidency, Ohaneze blast Ogunlewe. FAN, NCAA director, still in office, receiving salaries 5 months after tenure expiration. Cholera kills 816, infects 31,000 in 22 states. And you can't break Nigeria, Abdulsalami tells separatist agitators. Okay, which story are we taking in, son?
So I found out that 8 FAN and NCAA, that is Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria, and Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority, have 8 officials whose job tenure has expired, but for the past 5 months, they are still getting their salaries. And there is a limit to how long you can be in the position. It was instituted by former President Obasanjo to ensure that it goes around. People cannot be directors for too long, not for 13 years, so that there is less congestion. So these people should have been eased out and other people promoted to their position. But even though their tenure has expired, they are still attracting salary, even though we don't have enough money, because nobody has decided to replace them yet. So I'm expecting that maybe they will speak up concerning this as regards whose responsibility it is to replace directors. We have them in several places, people that their jobs are done technically, but they're still
earning,
there and earning.
Yeah, so we have cholera has killed 816 people so far, and this is the NCDC saying, and that it's spread to over 22 countries. About 31,000 people have been affected by this epidemic. And, you know, NCDC was also faulting the ongoing doctor strike. It says this is like wrong timing, especially at the time where there's also the Delta variant, this cholera outbreak. There's also the Marburg virus, which is similar to Ebola. And so to have the doctors on strike at such a time as this is not right. The Minister for Health, you know, also talked about it, and he said that he didn't threaten any doctors, you know, about it, but they're just appealing to doctors to go back to work, and that you know, everybody should just put hands on deck and get back to work, and that's
All
it.
right, so the family of Nnamdi Kanu was restating the issue on the stay-at-home. So according to them, they don't know why Mazen Nnamdi Kanu rescinded on the decision for them to suspend the sit-at-home. But according to them, they would have to carry that out until they are clear on why he wanted. So, but according to him, he said that we felt that by the attempt to adjust the sit-at-home order, the family was not undermining IPOB's ideals, but trying not to play out already marginalized people, especially our children, into the land. So he's saying that they are holding on to the IPOB ideals, but they are saying that they're suspending the sit-at-home, obviously for the reasons not to further marginalize their
own people
which
by
makes
themselves.
a lot of
It makes
sense.
a lot of sense, and I agree with that. So Hannes Ndigbo yesterday replied the former Works and Housing Minister Adeseye Ogunlewe over his recent comments that the lack of unity among the Igbo was bane to their aspiration for president in 2023. So they replied, and they are saying that they said he's suffering from diarrhea of the mouth, that he's not speaking for the Yoruba nation, that how can he say that the Igbos are not united, that what they are fighting is not, 2023 is not just about the Igbo presidency. It's about the fact that people want restructuring, people want a good life. And what they are even looking for is not just Southeast presidency, but Igbo presidency. And he went ahead to differentiate the two. That Igbo presidency means anybody who is from Igbo extraction, whether you're in Benue, whether you're in Kogi, whether you're in Niger Delta, whether any part of the country, but you have an Igbo extraction to be, because every other, like the major tribes, so to speak, have taken that position. They become president at one time or the other. But it's not just a Southeast. It must be from the Southeast, Gongon, that, you know, can take over that position. So they have a lot of moralists in the Southwest who are supporting this Southeast extraction right now. Okay.
Moving on to Vanguard. COVID-19 experts blame FG as cholera rages. Indonesia to investigate possible restraint of Nigerian diplomat, and the commander-in-chief of the armed forces of Nigeria, President Muhammadu Buhari, visited Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu at his house in London. 2.5 trillion naira spent on varsities, others in 10 years, says TED Fund. Yoruba elders working to secure Sunday Igboho's freedom. Nigeria complies with quota, produces 1.4 million barrels per day, says OPEC. Wife of ex-president Shagari Hadiza dies at 80. and embarking on strike during pandemic is just unconscionable. Okay, let's go on a quick break. When we come back, we continue with the review. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So we're moving on to our hot topic today. Last Friday, we started a conversation on widows moving on with their lives. In continuation of that discussion, we want to address what our culture says concerning widowhood and if it should be applicable in this time and now. What effect does it have on a woman's psychology, her mental state, and her emotions? You can join the conversation on 081-270-53687, 091-390-76948. I know we have started with the conversation on it is an honorable thing as a widow to just enjoy the company of your children and just stay by yourself. But then today, we're saying we have to challenge that, because when we tell women to stay by themselves, are they truly happy? Are they getting the best out of life? So we'll continue that conversation because we got quite a lot of feedback on it. I'd like to come to BC. BC, as we're moving on with this, what are your thoughts on how widows today should begin to take back their lives and enjoy the time they have on earth?
So I want to ask, is it, you said it's something honorable.
Yes.
Yeah. So the
the
honorability
culture
says, the honorability is for who? Because I always believe that what is good for the goose is good for the gander. And if we are trying to build a society where everybody is, I'm not talking about you being equal with your husband. I'm making this very clear so that people don't misquote me. I'm saying that if we build a community where everybody has a right to live, everybody, as long as you are not doing something to hurt anybody else, you're not doing something to hurt, kill, maim, steal from the society, you just want to live. You have the right to carve your own life the way it fits you. So I have spoken to some widows who I know who their children refused them to remarry after their husbands passed. And I could feel the pain when they narrated. I wanted to at some point, because the burden was too much. When you are together with your spouse, you share everything. You share the chastising the children, the provision for the children. You have somebody, you come back from work, somebody is talking to you. You have that companionship, you have that partner. Then when anything happens and that partner goes, you feel like a part of you is lost. And you can brood for as long as you're not ready to look up and see somebody else, come your way. For some people, they say, I'm never going to remarry. This is the end for me. For others, they get to a point where they feel, I can't do this life alone. Do we not hold them back because society has said it's more honorable to stay? If somebody actually feels, I can't do this alone, with these children, I need help, shouldn't we support them to get that help? Because when it's the man, it's different. You just give them 1 year. We are counting for them. The ones that don't care, 3 months, 6 months, somebody is already sneaking through the back door into the house, cooking and doing and helping some things. The ones that are a bit more moral and pay attention to other people can wait for 2 years, a year, 2 years, and it's okay for them to move on. But once it's the woman who feels, I need somebody at this time, the society now tells you, you are not moral. You are not this. You are supposed to stay for the rest of your life.
So my point is, it's expected that the man will move on. It's expected for the woman to wait.
Not to move on. It's expected, that's our societal expectation.
So in this expectation, where do we put the children? Because the reasons why women don't like moving on, as I said last week, is that they don't want people competing for that love, that attention that they're giving to their children. They don't want a man coming into their lives, maybe molesting their daughter, or, stuff, because you don't know these people. So it's always safer for them. It's not like it's honorable, it's sacrificial for them. So, you know what? I will sacrifice my wants, my need, my desire, because I want my children to have a sane and decent house to live in. So because of that sacrifice, should we hold that against them for making that choice?
Quickly, before
Mariah,
you move on, I wanted to just say
add something. Okay. I think you're forgetting. Also, you're also talking about if they do not marry, but they are dating but they're also allowed to be dating
but
while
not married.
waiting, but not married.
Yeah. So I just wanted to say that if you want to make a sacrifice, let it be from you. Be the one as the woman to decide, is a sacrifice, I'm not willing to move on because I want to focus on my children. But do not make that sacrifice because of what people will say. If you're tired, you're fed up, you need help, and you feel it's also very important that you pay attention to the person who is coming. If the person who is coming is not going to be a responsible person to your children, there is no point because of your own selfish needs. There's no point. Your children come first right now because you have lost your partner. But if the person coming, you can see that the person really means well and can help you make life easier. It should be your choice. And we, the society, shouldn't judge you or crucify you for that. That's just my point.
Technically, BC has finished the show. But just before the show started, there was a post someone made. His name, person's name is Ufoma Egbamuno. And, of course, since it's public, I'll make her name known. She said, woke up with a smile today because exactly 1 month from today, this gorgeous 57-year-old mother of mine will be saying I do 15 years after our dad died. And obviously she's happy about it. Then I went, because Instablog carried the story, and then I went and I saw over 600 comments, and I just paid attention to read through, and most people were saying, I need to show it to my mom. How I wish my mom would see this. How I wish my mom would see this. So many women have taken up that responsibility of raising their children because they feel like if they bring another man into the scene, he probably won't do a good job. One. Number two, society expects them. So they didn't even think there's another option of maybe remarry because they might be seen as loose if they do. So it's not about making a decision anymore. It's about, this is how I've been brought up. I've been brought up. It's like the first time I heard a married woman cheating, I had palpitation. I was shocked because I've been brought up to think like, you're married, close shop. There's nothing else going on. So a woman has been brought up, most women around us have been brought up to believe that if you're already married, if you lose your husband, close shop, raise your children. Your children you are married to your children ongoing. So the conversation now is to give them options to think, am I truly happy? You know, do I still need companionship? Would I appreciate having someone that would listen to the kind of things I want to say that is not suitable for my children's ears? You know, so, and that's what I'm happy about, that we're discussing it now and we're letting women have more options. And sometimes you will never know because you've never worn the shoes. So people just assume that the women will be okay. And I had a tough conversation with a single mature lady that is in her 40s. And she was like, I'm at work morning to night because I don't want to go home. Because when I go home, my mom and my dad, they are both in their house, their room talking. And I just said, and I'm looking at the roof waiting. Let's sleep, just take me away because I would love to have someone to talk to. So I never thought about it because it just didn't occur to me, but people don't know what they are going through. They don't know that they need somebody that will just cuddle them, someone that will just hold them. So your mother has been single for 20 years. It did not occur to you that this woman is a human being. You know,
so I really like to hear from. I would like to hear from widows this morning. It would be great for us to hear your story, because just like Chokwe said, people always assume that you're fine. You're fine. You'll be fine. You'll be okay. But it will be important for us to have this conversation so that even there are younger widows today. You know, there are widows in their 30s and 40s that they would like to have that option. So when society normalizes the fact that it's okay to move on, they can have the confidence to do so. But sometimes, because society expects them to just wait, maybe you have 2 children, just raise your children. So I would like to hear from from people who have walked these shoes to call us and educate and help us understand what they're going through and how their lives are. Yes, Mariam, your thoughts on this?
Okay, well, you know, we had started the conversation, so they sort of echoed many things that we said. But, you know, there was one part of the conversation we're talking about, which is dating while being a widow. So you make the decision that, okay, I may not be ready to bring a father figure to meet my children right now because, you know, I don't want to confuse them, or they're a little too young and they're still grappling with the loss of their father, and I don't want it to look like I'm imposing another person on them. Is a widow allowed to date without being judged and called all sorts of names because she's dating? And as you just mentioned, the feelings are still there. I mean, you're a human being. I mean, you're a human being.
They must just show up and marry.
Maybe I've been a spinster for a couple of weeks, but
I'm okay. No, it's just that
no, but what I'm saying is that, you know, you are expecting your husband to come back. So it's just normal that when people say, oh, their parents waited so years, did they see someone else? Was the person allowed to date? Did they feel bad that their parents were, their mother or their father was dating because of that? And I think that society needs to start to think differently. When you think with love towards someone else, and try to put yourself in someone's shoes, you'll be more understanding of their situation and not judge them. Sometimes we don't judge because we don't know, because we've never been through those shoes. And a human being has all the same feelings as anyone else and needs companionship. And I think that you can discreetly
think about it.
Date. You know.
Well, think about it, Mariam. I mean, yeah, so dating if you're a young widow, definitely. But if your mother is 60, 65, or your mother, let's just say your mother is 50, 55, 60, as a daughter, do I want to start seeing another man with one like coming and say, hey, I don't know. When my father died, I don't know if I would really like my mother to this. I mean, I don't think so. I personally wouldn't feel comfortable with having
many people have that.
So I would want my mother to be happy. Now, if I feel based on my mom's behavior, I feel okay, maybe she needs company. Maybe I could have. But
it's not you to determine her feeling. You can't determine another person's feeling. No. You only hear what they tell you, or you see what they show you. You can't determine. And it's selfish. Because I'm saying it, I had a friend recently who was telling me that if she had known, she would have begged her father. The man lost the wife, and they were hell-bent on not allowing him remarry. And after a few years, he died. And so they went for a program, and they were talking about things like this. And she said she was feeling really bad, that if she had known, she would have allowed this man to marry. The man was actually begging them that I've raised you people, you are successful. Let me, I need somebody. And that's because he's a very moral sort of man. Someone like my father will not take your permission. What So, but I think a lot of children are very selfish. And when it comes to their parents, can we try and be a little more understanding to these parents?
You know,
they are human beings as well. They have the feelings as well. We, when we're dating, we lose boyfriends. We know how we nearly almost die. Some people, we drink all sorts of things because
some of these mothers, I'll come to you, Mariam, because some of these mothers, it's not your fault. The mother, they've conditioned themselves. Say, I am married to Jesus. I am married to Jesus. They are the ones telling you that they're married to Jesus.
It can be lip service.
Yeah, but how would you know? Am I a psychologist? How would I know if it's lip service?
Okay, one, I'm always surprised when I hear people say that their children didn't allow, like adult children. I'm not talking of babies who don't understand, but like grown adult children saying to their adult parents, like, you can't get married. I'm like, really? Yeah. You truly think I need your permission? But secondly, our older parents are different now. They are going to the gym, they are dressing up, they are meeting people, you know, they are hanging out. So I don't know how you tell someone like that who is full of life and that the person should not date or should not remarry. It would not make sense. I think what's important is when you have an older parent who is dating is that make sure that she is doing it in such a way that is safe. So those statistics that showed that older people were getting AIDS, the number were getting HIV, that the number in those older, where the numbers were
that's a bit.
So what is happening is that older people are now getting into relationships. So they've lost partners, and then, you know, they're in their 60s, their 70s, they are full of life, and then they are re-engaging. And they're not doing it safely. So make sure that your widowed parent is doing it safely. That because you're older does not mean that these things are no
business doing that.
They don't understand. They have those feelings. Which feelings? And then also make sure, because some people now have this thing, they want to do younger men. So make sure that it's not a younger man that is here.
A whole new
to swipe your mother of her hard work and her, you know, savings.
Okay, let's go there for a second. We're going to go on a break, talk away. But you see, she took us somewhere where, so if you don't allow your mother, so your mother is in her 50s. She looks beautiful. She's happy.
The kind of 50s we are seeing nowadays.
Or 55, 65, YK 67. You know, I know somebody, I think it was YK's picture I posted. I can't remember if it was on Instagram or something. And the person was like, she wished her, because her own mother was 60. And she wished her mother was having the kind of life and joy that YK, that she's seen that YK is having. Because her mother is 60. But she's posted her picture, her mother's picture, and she's in
a different kind of 60.
So she's like, she just wished her mother was more like alive. So we're staying with us. So we're still discussing widowhood and how and if they should move on. We have Maureen waiting. Good morning, Maureen. Are you there?
Ladies?
Yes, you're live. Go ahead, please.
Good to speak with you.
Yeah.
I'm trying to call and all that. Anyway, you guys, you inspire me a lot.
Thank you.
And this topic has been something that I talk about all the time with my friends and all. And I actually had this conversation with my mother. My father passed on when she was 52. And if I knew what I know now, I would have encouraged her to marry. But I had a conversation with her one day, and she said to me, remarry. What are you talking about? I said, but nothing. You need company. You need somebody to love you again, and you need to love somebody again. And she said to me, no, that's not important. But I was married to your father and your father alone. So I said, well, if that's how. But I said, you're talking now because you're 84, you'll be 84 soon. And time has passed and all that. I said, if I had known, I would have encouraged you to remarry. So I think they should be encouraged.
Right.
Widows, especially the younger ones, should be encouraged to remarry because they need company. They need that special someone to keep them company. Children will.
There we go.
Thank you, Maureen. Because the truth is that there are men who lose their wife too, and they need company. And sometimes your mother is just a perfect fit for them, where they think alike. They both have grandchildren all over the world flying around. You know, it's just great company for them to have that. They might not be doing the other room. Because many people are worried about the other room matters.
Why? Where's it
because don't want
it is Morayo.
Okay, so
speak for yourself.
Okay, so people like me are worried with the other room, my mother in the other room, somebody else, God forbid.
What's your business?
Okay, so
I have that issue. So company, I can understand. Yes, be my mother's companion. Me gisting with her, be playing bingo.
The person will be a eunuch.
But
so I believe that we need to get comfortable with the fact that everybody else would have they would live complete lives. You know, I look at my children and they're really small, and I imagine like in the next 20 years, these boys will now have someone who is the love of their life, and they feel like they love the person. They would shower love on that person, and these are my small boys. Like, look at these boys. But I'm already preparing myself to release them to love. Release them to be good. And that's the same way, even as adult children, we should be ready to release our parents to love and our parents to be happy. Because if you don't release them, they might be behind you and they might get into risk. They might not be safe. You know, they might get into trouble. They might get into circumstances that are not comfortable. And like what Mariam raised, there are several young to mature relationships, happening in our society right now. The people in their 50s who are conveniently dating 30-year-old, 30-plus-year-old men who are single. And most of the ones I've seen, and I've seen two personally, hide it from their children. So the children don't know that they are having a relationship with that guy. They just feel like, oh, it's that man that comes to do something in the house. He doesn't do anything. This is mommy's...
The shiny Congo.
Yes. You know, this is mommy's person. And sometimes I just feel worried that there are things that might happen that could have been prevented if it had been an open conversation with the family. Everybody knows that mommy is being helped by this person.
Let me take this call.
Let's create an atmosphere that would encourage such conversations to reduce the risk. And let us be more open to having mature people still falling in love. And because there's...
Take your call.
The hard work for me as a young woman to prepare for the other room activities. I think,
which young, but because there's children, there's pursuing your career, there's so many things. Momsy is just chilling.
Nothing.
So imagine that she has someone.
Let me take this call from the UK.
There's no mommy, come here.
Thank God, my mom. Oh, I'm so sorry. Yes, BC, you're going to say something.
I wanted to say that, based on what Miriam raised, that the way this life is, everything that goes around comes around. Where we are the ones that take care of the children. It will get to another turn. The children will begin to take care of us and begin to make decisions for us. And, you know, when it comes to all of this dating, I would like that the children are open-minded and then have conversations with their parents. When you show support for your parents will not hide who they have decided to date. They will tell you, and then you can use your youngness and your sharp brain wisdom to sight the person, to be sure that the person is genuine, to be sure that this person... Because the truth is, we all fall in love the same way. You see somebody, you like the person, you suspend like almost 80% of your brain. Even at that age, when they fall in love, they can sell your house and give them your school fees if care is not taken. So it's still the same way that we feel, that they feel. They are human beings, and it's the same cycle. But if they are free to have conversations with you as a child that, okay, this guy is coming, you know, today he said I should borrow him, so and so. Tomorrow he said I should touch my business. You will now know that, mommy, please, this person, does not have your good intention at heart. You can help them through that. So let's not remove ourselves. After all, mommy, just focus on children, focus on God, go to church, go to a mountain, go and pray and all of that, and give them the room to hide some of these things. The earlier we can help them. And we can also tell them, because we now are more aware of how we can better take care of our bodies. We can also tell mommy, you need to do this now, you need to use this protection, you need to do this now. Let's be open to our parents.
Let's say, encourage them. You don't talk about that, but they have heard.
They've heard.
Yes. Yeah. Let's talk about young widows dating, because that also happens, and some people don't know how to do it in a way that protects their children, and there are sadly cases of abuse of minors by the person the mom is dating. Very sad news. We read them in the papers where the young widow, somebody came to visit at home and the person was not around, and you feel comfortable that this person is going to be the father of my children very soon, and you leave them, and then the person is actually a predator. So when we have conversations like this, people's eyes get open to the fact that if he's not the father of my child, I love you, I trust you, I think you love me, but I need to still protect my children.
Yeah,
so we don't want to encourage selfish pursuit of personal happiness. Because when you already have children, your priority should be your children, especially when they are young. So if you are a very young widow and you still have personal needs, ensure that you create a system that your personal satisfaction does not compromise your children, because they are dependent 100% on you.
Fantastic. Also, in addition to that, if you're friends with a young widow, it's important for you to show support, because especially when they have children, they need a support system where the kids are staying over with you, you know, while they go out and have fun. Say, yes, you have your own spouse, but it would be nice for you to give them that, you know, once in a while, maybe once a month, the kids stay over in your house. She goes out, she hangs out with the guy or something. So we as friends should also be
support them,
showing support.
not judge them and gossip behind.
Because this thing that you just said reminds me also that there's something that widows suffer, which is we hear that they say their friends are unwilling to bring them to their own houses so that their husbands don't look at them, etc. That is something that they also complain about.
That's
so
a genuine...
friends all of a sudden... Now,
she's available.
Yes, and now you are now available. Like, So all this, you're bringing your children, I'm helping you so that you now be coming to my house more. That is a problem.
That's another angle. Let me take this call. Good morning. Are you there?
Hey, my name is Martha. I'm calling from Abuja.
Good morning, Martha. You're live. Go ahead, please.
I'm a first-time caller.
Welcome to the show.
Very interesting topic, Mariah. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
Ladies. Good morning. I think we should have flipped this discussion a little bit. And by flipping the discussion a little bit, is aside talking about the widows, we also look at the fathers too.
The widowers.
We begin to look about the widowers. We look at the background where the children are coming from. We must remember that these children, some of them have had family trauma from abuses from their parents. So seeing or losing an important figure, who might probably be the mother or the father, it is relatively difficult bringing in someone to fill in that vacuum. And we must remember, as human beings, people will always have motives, except they come out very clear. Coming in to fill that space, not because they want to, but because they want these children to get a flip side. And it brings out the hurt. It brings back that trauma they experienced. There's this experience I saw is a family friend. You would not believe it that the woman was the one who built up the home. She did practically everything. Now they came into money and lived a beautiful life. But the oldest son, unfortunately, could not have a child, and his mother passed on. They were so emotional after the mother passed. But you would not believe it that it was the mother's friend, the one who wept more during the funeral, who was taking up most of the responsibilities that came in. And it came to a day where he pointed out to this boy that, go face your barrenness. It was so sad. But unfortunately, after 12 years, he was blessed with a set of twin boys. But I can tell you that up to date, they have a sore relationship with the father. So we must remember that as much as we encourage them, these children's emotions must also be in check and also be put into practice, so that it is a balanced equation.
Absolutely, Martha. Thank you so much for sharing. I have to go on a break.
It's a young widow involved. It is expected that you will put your children's needs first. And sometimes that's when the sacrifice comes into play. You can delay, you know, having your physical gratification for a long time to get these children to a level where they can stand on their feet. So we expect that you use your head. But when the children are grown to a certain level where they can begin to have their own lives, make decisions for themselves, it is not expected that you put their feeling before yours in finding a partnership. Because the truth is, you're not replacing their parents, their lost parent, their father. You're not replacing, you are getting another companion for your life's journey. So you own that responsibility as long as they are settled. When they are not settled, then you can, that's when you start sifting to be sure that the person who is coming has their best interest at heart. So I grew up, not like I lost my mom, but she wasn't there at the time I grew up. And I knew that everyone who came as a stepmother, my father was very particular about how they treated me and treated the other children. Although most times when he's not around, they use the opportunity to bully me, or serious one. But the times he was there, he paid attention to how they treated his children, you know, even as a man. So if we get that sorted, let's not put... people will always be bad. People will always, in the family, insult you. People will always, you know, tell you things that hurt you. Even if it was your mother that was there, one day she can get upset and insult your wife. We've seen all of this. So let's not place that, because it happened that way, to the fact that somebody was replaced. So the rule of thumb really is that when you have younger kids, some widows prefer to let them grow older. They are mature enough to understand that your father has died. Your mom needs some companion. You know, so they are in their secondary school level where they understand what's going on. And then you have a conversation, and with their permission, you begin to date. I mean, sometimes I've seen that happen.
So I wanted to just spotlight the idea of the person remarrying. When the adult or young child, many young people tend to feel like, or many children in this situation tend to feel like, you want to replace my mother or you want to replace my father. And I think we should get to that. In most cases, they're not replacing, because they can never replace who they are. So don't think that way, because when you begin to think that way, you begin to dislike the relationship that your parents is going into and your loved one is going into. So open up your mind to the fact that they need that companionship, and they're not replacing your mother. You're not bound to emotionally bond with this new woman. You're not bound to emotionally bond to this new man. It is good if you permit the relationship and see how it goes, but not emotionally bound to the person. That's on one side. On the other side is the fact that if you're already an adult, let another adult make their own decision for themselves.
Thank you.
Because in your own house, your parents are not going to come and tell you how you should cook your rice, how you should cook your beans, how you should love your spouse and all of that. So give that same mature adult freedom for your parents that desire what they desire.
Yes, it's important also to note that because something bad happens with a particular step-parent, it does not mean that being a widow and getting remarried again is a bad thing. Yes, people have those that will come in and then they'll cause strife. People have come in and they have abused minors. That happens because they are bad people in this world. But that does not necessarily mean that it is bad to want a companion because you're a widow or a widower. It has also happened that many people would say, when my father married this woman, it was like I never lost a mother. I felt so loved. There's no difference between us who are not our biological children and those who are. So all that scenario happens. And then when someone has comes into, don't come in that you're trying to replace. For someone who has a stepfather and also who has stepkids, I understand that when you come into a family, you don't come in there to replace anybody. You cannot replace. If you are trying to do that, they'll be marking your whatever against each other. And they say it's even harder to compete against a dead person. Yes, because a dead person, you know how we remember them. You only remember the good. So you dare not. So come and you know I'm going to be your friend. I'm going here to give you moral support. And if they're adult children, allow them to determine how far you want this relationship to go.
You know, and there's somebody I know that I'm sure she's watching right now. She's my mom's friend, and she's such a beautiful woman. When I say beautiful, this woman, her skin is always glowing and popping, and she's always... And when her husband died, I kept saying, so this fine beauty will just go like that. So if I had heard that she plans to revive me, I would say, okay,
You can
Maybe,
understand.
because the woman was just, I mean, she's just a glowing woman. My mom also was always a beautiful woman, but she has always been a homely person. So I wouldn't think she was interested in, but this is my mom's friend. I would, that beauty, that woman was...
Let's talk about inheritance. You know, Mara mentioned it during the break.
Oh, Kendi hasn't holding, I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
Kendi, are you still there? I do apologize for keeping you. You're live. Go ahead, please.
Okay, and I'm a first-time caller.
Welcome to the show. First-time caller.
Welcome to the show.
You see, I'm not a widow.
Okay.
My mom was not a widow. My parents were separated. And my mom is 71 now.
Okay.
And it really hurts me that she doesn't have a partner at this point. So, I also am a single mom, but I'm in a committed relationship now. But I see the effect my partner has had on my son. And I'll keep saying this at every point. Companionship is a very good thing.
It is.
We cannot deny it.
Yes.
Nobody's coming to replace anybody, but the effect, my son is going through puberty. I can't explain it to him. The day he came to tell me I'm feeling butterfly, I couldn't explain it. I had to call my partner. I said, Mister, please, can you put him through? They went for a walk. Every time they go into the room, they have this chat, and the boy feels better, and my mind is at peace. And I'm addressed that, okay, there's somebody that can handle this part that I know nothing about. For a woman, I can explain, but for a man, I cannot explain. So I think the society should be more welcoming, more encouraging, and women as well should take this by the horn. A man will lose his wife. In 6 months, he's already considering remarrying because of the children. A woman will lose her husband. They will say she must wait at least 2 years before she will consider anything. For me, I think that is very cruel and not balanced.
Thank you very much, Kendi. Thank you very, very much.
May I add that the people who uphold all this culture, is the women. The men will not have a problem with you. It's their wives. Have you seen Lagbaja? Lagbaja, just 6 months now that the husband has gone, or just 3 years now, she has brought another. I saw Lagbaja with so and so. It's the women. So we women, we need to talk to ourselves. We are very judgmental, especially when it comes to other women. We are very judgmental with the things that we are doing in secret, but when we see it on the outside, we want to present to our husbands that we are saints, and then we bring down the other people. We do that intentionally. So women, we need to talk to ourselves. Should I leave you for the inheritance?
I'll come to you, this is Maram now.
Okay.
See, there's a joy. There's a joy when a woman, imagine a widow finally finds love. And there was a lady that I know, she had 4 children. I think her husband had died in the plane crash, you know. And I think it was 12 years after, she met a doctor from the UK. And he came home, and he was also a widower, came home together. And I was there, the wedding, the joy she was going through. The fact that, listen, and the kids were fine. But when you see that joy, that should be the one. Is that joy we as a society should hold on to and say, we want our women to be happy. So if you have the opportunity to love again, we should encourage it. I say, listen, we want them to be happy, not looking around and looking frustrated like the whole world has come on. You know, you have companion. So my own worry as a Nigerian girl was
as a Nigerian adult.
As a Nigerian adult.
As a Nigerian
was the other room matters. But what we are focusing on is
what you choose to focus on. What you choose to focus on.
The company comes with that now.
Let's talk about the inheritance, because sometimes some children will not want their parents to remarry because they don't want to split the inheritance. And
that's another good point.
Yes, some children, their reservation is not because of they don't mind the man remarrying, or they don't mind the man sorting himself or the woman sorting himself, but they just don't know. They don't want another child to come into that relationship because they've already judged the house that they would take. Each person would have 5 houses, you know, and they don't want to have to now divide it further, or some of that property would now go to the new woman or the new man in the family. So how do we resolve property matters? In my own case, when I thought about it, I just thought about it that maybe the person that wants to remarry should quickly first give everybody their inheritance, so that they all know they are sorted, so that they will not hold on to the person. That's the easiest thing.
That's why I said the other room should not be involved. Come to be my companion. You see, there are different levels. If it's the young bride, young widow, that one I can understand. That one, there are 2 stages here. The young widow, that one, wait for your children to be a bit more mature. You can remarry and have it. But when you're an older, we are in the 60, 65, and you want to start. Hey,
sweetie, till that age,
let me take this call. I come to mind. I'm sorry. I have a call from Tony. Are you there?
Hey,
Tony from the UK. Go ahead, please. You're live.
We have plenty of messages.
Yeah, my name is Tony. I do listen to your programs, and I love what you're doing. But some of the things I will say now, it's not related to what you're discussing now. But can I have your number again, journalist hangout? Because each time they're on board, I don't see their number, so I'm struggling to get their number.
Mariam, thanks. Okay. I didn't hear what he was. I just said journalist. I didn't hear him properly. Yeah. Sorry about that. Go ahead.
Yeah, okay. So another thing is that if we were to compare widowers who are able to get married and widows that stay at home, that don't get married, I also feel that there are more widows who do not get remarried. And I feel it's because women are taught or told or socialized to think that if you already have children, if you're of a certain age, then you should not put yourself out there. So I find that, in my opinion, I think that widows, Nigerian widows, are saying to themselves, so they don't seem like they need it. They're like, no, I don't need, I'm married to Jesus, I'm already married to your husband, your father, and that's it. So that they do not have to put themselves out there and be rejected. So it's like, well, I already accept it. I'm too old. I already have children. Who's going to look at me? I have stretch marks from having the babies, from there. Who am I going to start all over and, show my body to and that will accept me? And so they protect their heart or protect themselves by doing that. But I feel that there are mature men out there. So our children are supposed to help us. Mariah, I'm talking to you. Our children are supposed to help us have this companionship. I understand that companionship comes with other things.
No, Mariah, you're looking at me. Yeah, I have no problem with companionship.
Yeah.
My own is
that's part of companionship.
So what I've seen so far is the adults that don't allow their parents, one parent remarry, are mostly the adults that, they come from rich families. Yeah. Because you see those ones that are still looking for somebody to even sort out mommy, where everybody is finding their level. They don't really care as much whether she remarries or not. So it borders around wealth. And what I always tell children around me, build your own house, so make your own money, so that you don't tell me that I'm not supposed to make certain decisions at a certain age because of what you want to get. This is not your house, so you are a tenant here, you are passing by, you will get your own. So if we instill that in those children, let them go and work and make their own. So they don't tell you how to share your property. It's your property. I can choose to give it to the orphanage.
Absolutely. I think I would like to end on that. I would have loved to take more comments.
Let's
take a few comments.
Bamidele on Facebook says, everybody needs somebody to help comfort them, either a widow or a widower. Yeah. It's pretty normal for widows to find love and remarry, just as it is for a widower. It's not out of the ordinary. It's amazing. So long the widow knows what she's doing. Widows should shake off the feeling of being met with hate comments when they find love and they need to move on. All a widow needs is to take the bold step and get better and better every day.
Fantastic.
Embrace self-development. Somebody was telling you that you should forget the other room matter. That will sort itself out.
Morolayo says, good morning, ladies. Today's topic is so interesting. Sometimes I had a sister that lost her husband. Whenever I look at her beautiful face, I would tell her to remarry, and she objected. Later in life, I discovered it's better not to remarry, because if she loves her new husband, it will be a problem for the children that she has diverted their love for their father to the new person.
Can I just add, for someone who is a child of someone that was a widow, I was happy to know that my mom was happy. That was it. I could see my mom and she's happy. That was what was most important
to you. Fantastic. Awesome.
Okay, I think we can wrap up on that. Thank you so much, ladies. It's going to break. When we come back, we're bringing our celebrity guest. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Yeah, showcase his collections in Morocco, Cape Town, Mozambique, London, New York, Paris, every other place, especially Lagos too. Welcome with us, the one and only Adebakare in the building.
Yo.
Thank you very much.
So we're proud to be wearing I'm proud to be wearing Adebakare today. I know you brought us clothes.
Yeah.
Mariam couldn't wear hers, you couldn't wear yours, but Stop and
I'm wearing mine.
we're able to wear ours. Thank you so much for this.
Pleasure.
Lovely. So we know you've celebrated 30 years.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. There are very few designers that can boast of this feat.
Yeah.
Remaining in business.
And remaining in business, successful, internationally recognized and all that. I don't want you to go through the journey because most of you already know your journey because we've seen it online. But in 2 seconds, just tell us how 30 years in the industry makes you feel today. 2 seconds.
I feel very. 2 seconds. I feel very proud. It's been a long journey, and I always want to use my story to try to inspire other designers, and that success is a journey. It's not a destination, so it's continuous, and it takes time to achieve your dreams. It's funny that when I started, I never knew the hurdles would be so many, but I'm happy that I've seen it through, and I'm here.
Yeah, so I'm excited sitting with a designer of your caliber.
Thank you.
Because I know that even when our designs had not gotten international recognition, you were one of the people who took it there. And right now the world is celebrating our Dire, our Kampala, everything that has to do with Africa. And they are now making prints for us and sending back home. So, but what do you see going forward in the fact that a lot of people are getting into that industry, but they play in different fields? What's the hope for African fashion internationally?
I feel that there's a lot of focus on Africa now, and especially Nigeria, because Nigerians are known to be very fashionable, both the women and the men. So there's a lot of focus, especially on what the Nigerian designers are doing internationally. And it's nice that we're embracing what's ours. Because it's interesting that initially when I started in England, I never used to use Adire. It's only when I opened my shop in Lagos that I started using African textiles, because I didn't really know a lot about it.
Yeah.
And then a friend brought, Shegun Lawson, he brought these fabrics and he said, would you use them? And they were the stiff Adire and that sort of thing. And I said, no, it's not very luxurious. I'm not sure I want to use it. And then he said, okay, do you have any fabrics? You can give them to me. So we had all these silk organzas and chiffons and linens and cotton. So I gave him some. And then he brought them back. And I said, oh, these are beautiful. Where did you get them from? He said, no, these are the fabrics you gave me. Wow. And the Adire is a process, can be applied onto any fabric. Wow. So that's when I started doing them a lot on silk. This was in 2006. And I started doing a lot of silk Adire, and I noticed that it always sold. But even then, I was still hesitant, because I was just used to the Western things that I was doing. But I noticed that in the shop, especially in Nigeria, they always sold out. And when I asked the client once, I said, oh, why do you all seem to buy this? They said, this is us. This is who we are. And this represents us. Yes.
Yeah, so talking about hurdles, because right now, I find that many fashion designers would have put in a lot of work to bring out their designs and their prints.
Yes.
And once they come out in 2 weeks, smaller stores, smaller fashion designers, smaller tailors copy them and put them out in the market. Is that a problem for African fashion? And would you like consumers to buy fashion differently?
Yes, well, they always say, when people copy others, it's a form of flattery. But I feel there should be structure. And this is what I'm also trying to bring into the picture. So when I started designing a lot of Adire, and as a designer, I always like to have my own signature. So like what you're wearing now is called Ilari. It's Ilari print.
Yeah, the comb.
And yes, the comb. And what you're wearing is Orogbo, which is like bitter cola. So I actually sat down, sketched them, and worked with a lady who does Adire, and she created these stamps for me. So later on, if you watch the film, you'd see a lot of these designs on them. We were the costume designer for the film. And I felt going forward, I have to copyright them. So I went to the Nigerian's Copy Commission. It's in Costain, in Sulere. And they've got a very good structure. And you register your designs, and they're stamped. And the time, and so that if anybody came along to then copy you, you could then sue them.
Oh,
wow.
Yes, they've got lawyers and everything. Yes.
Oh,
And I felt it's very important because in the West, in England especially, there are all these laws in place. And I felt, you know, in Nigeria, someone did mention that, oh, they do have them here. And that's why I went there. Yes, and they do have structure and everything.
Interesting.
So I know that you have this really nice capes that you used. You've always, like, I think I've always known you to have really nice capes, jackets-ish cape, and then very comfy outfit. Is there like a theme to your style? Like, is there something you try to achieve with all your designs?
Yes, I tried to make them very modern. And I tried to make them to appeal to anybody in the world. So my ethos when I design is that whatever I'm designing should appeal to everybody, should just be beautiful. So I tried to take on unconventional shapes and work them into a traditional concept, so whereby maybe the cape is in Nigeria, that sort of thing. And I noticed in England, it's a big selling point because especially of the weather, being cold and at times, you know, so people love like Ashoke capes because Ashoke is a bit thicker, and they love it, and they feel that they're sort of wearing something African.
So one of my major concerns is the fact that we've all kind of copied the Western culture of white weddings, white gown. I know you do a lot of bridal outfits. Have you considered doing like, or are you already a direct bride or something with African so where we birth a whole new culture. Of wedding gowns? Because I found out I was in Queen Victoria that started this culture. I'm thinking to myself, oh really, why can't we have ours? So in your, do you think it's something that we should do, or have you even conceptualized this?
No, but it's interesting you should say that. I always feel that yes, the white wedding dress is very Western. Yeah. But as Africans have the traditional wedding. So with that, they can satisfy that part. But it's interesting because in England, a lot of my Jamaican clients or people who are not of African descent but are black want something African, so they want something like that to wear as a wedding dress, and we'll do it. I mean, yes.
You also created a perfume business.
Yes.
Yeah,
Breeze.
Yeah, Breeze. And what inspired you to go into that aspect of fashion?
Because that was an interesting story whereby I was meant to have a financial backer for my business. But at the end of the day, they're taking me through so much, all my books and everything, and they were happy. But then I think the company didn't continue. But they had a fashion business, a perfume business. So what they said was that they would, because they've taken me through the whole process, but they couldn't fund me, they will create a perfume for me. It was Crown Perfumeries in Bollington Arcade in London. So they created a perfume for me. But I was involved in the whole process whereby they send what's called a nose. That's a specialist in perfumes. And I had to like pick 2 different scents and then suggest what I liked. So the whole sort of perfume was actually inspired by Babbage.
You mentioned.
That's nice. But thanks for staying with us. We still have Adebakare with us. So Tokwe had a question for the break.
So like, you were not born in Nigeria. You grew up in London, obviously, and you sort of have embraced the cultural identity of Africa, and it seems profitable, Nigeria, and it seems profitable for you. Can you talk a bit about that? Because many people feel like they need to become Western to be profitable. But you're saying you have clients over there who are buying our fabrics, our designs.
To identify.
So when I graduated from fashion school and I set up my business, was very Western, if you looked at the collection. So when I used to go to the magazines, especially Vogue and Harper's Bazaar, they'd always say, oh, you don't take from your identity, you don't take from your culture. That when we look at your collection, could easily be by an Italian or a French person. But growing up in the 80s, I think in Nigeria, it was all about quality, getting everything beautifully made. Yes. So when I went to England, that was my focus. You know, in the 80s, a lot of people used to buy ready-made. There's a lot of wealth in Nigeria, so a lot of ready-made clothes. So people were very focused on that. Whatever it is that you're selling should be good quality. So that was my major focus in England. And we did successfully well, you know, selling to stores and shops across England, and as far even as the Canary Islands, we were selling a lot. But then there was always, I felt there was always something missing. So when I now came to Nigeria, I opened the shop, and then I started knowing a lot more about African textiles, Ashoke, Adire. Not so much Ankara. I just didn't feel Ankara was very sort of African. And even when I now did my research on it, it actually came, you know, from Indonesia, I think. So, so that's when I started embracing, and I just felt this gave me a unique identity.
Yes.
So now when I was then doing shows back in England, it's like I'd created a niche for myself. And it was...
Talking about creating a niche, so most of the designs we see and we admire, we feel that the Western build is, you know, tall, slim, and the African lady seems to be a lot more voluptuous and, you know, than the Western woman. Would you say that your print, having learned about the print, would you say also that your design is accommodating of African bodies and African beauty?
Yes, definitely. Because a lot of the times, especially in Nigeria, we make a lot of kaftans and bubus, and they always sell very quickly because it fits a lot of figures, and a lot of ladies like it, and they say it's free. Also, the humidity, you know, it's quite warm, and it's designed, the danshikis, and they're designed in a way like this is a traditional danshiki, and also what you've got on. And if you look closely, they've got like triangles in them, and that creates a lot of room. And then the way it's cut, so it's free flowing for air. So it's very adaptable for countries, especially in Africa. And when I now look at, because I studied history actually, University of Lagos, before I studied fashion. And I always do a lot of research. So I found out that these clothes that was worn then, they were always for a reason. Yes, even the buba and niro, you know, it's all created for a reason, for comfort. You know, with the man, it's the buba and shokoto. It's very comfortable.
The air can get in.
Yeah, but the modern Nigerian woman is sexy. She wants to be seen as attractive. She doesn't want to necessarily always be in boo-boos and
true. That's true.
But she's also big and bold. So.
Yes, but in the collection, there's always a diverse amount of designs that anyone can choose from. But even in Senegal, that the women quite voluptuous and there were a lot of boobs. They always like leave a shoulder showing.
You know, to think about it, I'm trying to see if I've actually come across your work in the U.S. I don't know if you ever did that, because I know there are a lot of Nigerian American designers abroad who are doing a lot of work. Are you partnering? Are you working with any of them, or is just Adebakare brand that you focus on? Do you have stuff you do with
like franchise?
Not even franchises, just
other brands.
Other brands working with you.
Okay.
We have an international fashion industry that is working together. I mean, I think that's really
like Adebakare for Macy's, you know, those.
Okay, not yet, but not yet. Yeah, but soon, hopefully, because it's also getting the manufacturing right, being able to deliver when you get the orders. You know, those things are very important.
Are you also looking to mentor young fashion?
Oh yes, we started even in 2006. We had this show, the Young Designers Creative Competition. Senator Olumuyiwa was the guest of honor, and the whole idea was to identify and encourage new designers. So even designer Ejiro Emos Teferi was one of the recipients of that program.
Really?
Yes. So and we still do it, you know. Try to encourage young designers. I always stipulate that it's very important that they study it. A lot of people at times regard fashion as a hobby, but you can take it to degree status in the West, and it's very important to learn, even if you can't study it, but at least apprentice with someone so you'll understand the dynamics of the business. I just feel it's very important.
Okay, so I wanted to ask about, you mentioned a bit about production, and that's one of the problems that many fashion outfits in Nigeria complain that they can't meet the demand. When you go to international fashion shows and they ask you to bring 2,000 pieces of one particular design, you come back here and you can't meet that demand.
They can't satisfy.
What are the challenges of, what's the major bottleneck? Is it power? Is it skilled hands? Is it a combination of both, or is it something else that we're not looking at?
It's going back to education and structure. If you've been to fashion school, you'd have been taught about patterns, how to make patterns. And patterns are very important. I see a lot of designers do freehand in Nigeria. We have a fashion design academy, so you know, I always teach them that you cannot do freehand, because if you do freehand, it's reliant on the tailor who is cutting everything from memory. Whereas if you have a pattern, it's there, so you can even send these patterns later on to China or wherever, and it will be produced specifically.
Sounds simpler.
Sorry?
It is simpler.
It sounds like it would be simpler to do it that way.
Yes, but even creating the pattern is a very technical process. But it's a mindset that, okay, this is the way forward, this is what I'm going to use. But a lot of people still prefer to do the freehand. And from there, mistakes are bound to happen. And the more you adjust it, the more mistakes come. Whereas if you have the pattern, it's something that you place the pieces of patterns on the fabric, cut around it, and you can do 10, 20, 100, 1,000, it would always be the same. And patterns come in different sizes, either small, medium, or large, or according to the dress size, size 10, size 12, etc.
How do you ensure quality? One of the issues we've had is that people start great, but they're not able to sustain that quality. And it's difficult, especially in this kind of time where anything goes. If you come up with anything shabby, you find somebody to buy it. You don't have, it's not.
The price is right.
Yeah, as long as the price is right. So how do you sustain that quality across your products?
It's very important. I always have a quality control assistant. So whatever is made, especially in Nigeria, we always check the quality before it goes out. And this still goes back to patterns. Once you use patterns, it tends to come out a bit cleaner. It's like a puzzle. Everything fits, the sleeve, the front of the garment, the back, the patterns, and you put it together, it all fits. So then the tailors who are making it can concentrate on making sure they're sewing a straight line. But if they have to cut, then they have to, cut it from memory, cut it on the fabric. It's almost taking all their time. So when it now even comes sewing it, that maybe they're fatigued. And I believe success has to do with division of labor.
Yeah.
You cannot be successful if it's just one person doing everything. You're not going to grow. So you should have your pattern cutters, your tailors, So it's like a team effort all coming together. And my tailors that I've used in Nigeria, I've had them, because I opened the shop in 2006, I've had them for over 10 years.
Wow.
And quality,
the Nigerians?
Yes, the Nigerians.
Oh.
Yeah. And quality is what you make repetitively, and you just get good at, and that becomes quality, yes.
Yeah, there's something that always bothers me, that for us, we get those names like Chanel, Elisa, those international names that are accepted everywhere. But our fashion just never seems to get to that status where people want to say, I'm going to an Adebakare shop to get an Adebakare wedding dress, and then it is put on the covers of international magazines and celebrated like that. What are we not doing, or is this just a Western capitalist
I think
situation?
it's a time thing. We will get there. And it's also very important that the designers also have a signature. Because what happens a lot in Nigeria is that there's a designer, he's doing his designs, and then clients bring fabrics and say, oh, I've got my fabric, can you make it? So the more you accept people's fabrics, you begin to dilute your image, because people then don't know what your look is. It's a bit of this, it's a bit of that. As a designer, you should know the fabrics you like working with. They even become your signature point. But if you keep on taking fabrics from people, then how are you going to create a look? And then it doesn't give people confidence. It's like they should be able to wear your clothes and say, this is a Chanel, this is a Gucci, people can recognize.
This is my class. I feel like I'm in class.
So these are all the little things that I feel will come to place soon. But the most important thing is that the Nigerians have started looking in.
Which is
so
good.
yes, because your home market is your best market. If Saint Laurent, it's France. Dolce & Gabbana, it's Italians. Oscar de Renta, the Americans. People buy their own.
People buy their own.
Yeah, so it's very important. You'll even see with cars, if you go abroad, you notice that if you're in England, you see more Fords. If you're in France, you see more Renaults. If you understand. People sort of are groomed to buy of their own.
And we need to have our identity.
Yes.
That's fantastic. But I want to, because I know that you costume for movies. You did for Ayinla.
Yes.
How does that work, and is it profitable?
It is profitable. When I was approached by Tunikelani to design for Ayinla Omowura, I was very, very excited, actually, because I just thought it was a great challenge. And because I studied history, it wasn't so difficult, because everything always has to do with research. So we did a lot of mood boards and everything. And it's a period film caught in the 1980s. So that's what we tried to achieve when you watch the film. And I think he was happy with it, and the result has been good because we've been getting a lot of positive feedback, and he's called me to work on his latest film, Cordelia. Yes, in Ibadan. We're filming that in Ibadan.
So I know you had a 30 years celebration recently, and they had this modeling with.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
So for the 30 years, I said, okay, how am I going to make it more inclusive? You know, anytime you do shows, you do them on models. So I said this time around, I'm going to get the private clients to model. So I did a selection of private clients, and it was very exciting. They all loved it. And it's good because you can then see the clothes on different body shapes, you know, different heights. So that was actually the highlight of the show. They were so excited to be part of it. And
would you say Adebakare is affordable?
We need to know.
It's relative, right?
We've got a ready-to-wear line. That's affordable. I think it starts from 30,000 going up to 50. Yeah.
Okay, so let me ask you about the future, because many of these designers, like what Mariam referred to, they're all gone. You know, they've lived, they've left, and their business was still able to. The legacy goes on. People still buy their brands even after the people that founded it have moved on. What are your own plans for Adebakare, the future and succession?
Yeah. So the whole idea is to now get financial backers. Because stranger enough, for 30 years, I just ran it myself, using my own funds and everything, and just reinvesting back in the business. But there comes a point in time whereby you then now have to expand.
Upscale.
Yes, and have branches like in Nigeria, Port Harcourt, you know, Abuja, Owerri, and even across Africa, because my focus also is Africa. That's why I accept to do shows when I'm invited, like in Mozambique, Equatorial Guinea. Been to do a lot of shows in African countries. And Africans are all the same. They all like clothes and always want to look beautiful. So the plan for me is to have investment and then have investors and then, you know, have branches.
I would definitely like to see a wedding dress, Adebakare, made of these kind of prints, because I think you are well positioned to create a new culture of how we do weddings, even white weddings, in a nice Adebakare way. It's really nice to see that.
But the weddings are not our own now.
But we made it our own now.
You
told us culture has evolved, have you?
Christian weddings, very.
Yes, with a touch of...
Is there any final thing you want to tell us as we wrap up right now?
I would say, thank you very much for always having me here.
and thank you for the support you give to YK. I know you guys are friends, and I know you're always supporting her in any way, so thank you for that.
And thanks to Nigerians and all my clients for always patronizing me. And we'll be having a show in London next month.
Oh, next month.
Yes.
Oh, wow. That'll be nice.
And then in December, we're going to have a gala dinner to unveil the fashion book.
In Nigeria, in England?
In Nigeria.
And now tell us now.
Yes, definitely.
All right, you're very British, you know. Your mouth doesn't even look too wide. You're talking. Your mouth doesn't.
We need to go back to school.
Was like the mouth. You're talking and you're doing that.
Embrace your Nigeria.
Embrace it. Continue your background.
Can I talk like this, you know?
Like you say, you're
in one place. You never move your body. Oh, gosh. Thank you so much.
Pleasure. Thank you very much.
That's all we can take on the show. I hope you learned a few things as we have. Let your widowed parents find joy and happiness. That's really the
companionship
solution. Companionship is
the
good. We are not allowed to define the companionship. Okay. Have a great weekend. See you Monday. Bye for now.
Oh, God. Thank you very much.